Alright, fellas, here we are back in Pokemon Masters. Alright, so I figured it'd be go ahead and be the best time to release this. Lance dropped yesterday. It was the last of the Arc Suit Sync pairs. Of course, for now, right? And obviously, I kind of wanted to make something over the community's feedback. And I don't really know how to format this. I don't really ever structure these videos. I just kind of talk, and I end up getting at least most of the points that I want to get across by the end of it. So it's kind of just like a bridge of, all right, let's get from here to here and figure out how to do it in between. Just kind of go along with it. So first of all, I want to say that obviously there has been some very big, quote, controversies about this anniversary with a lot of aspects, right? You know, the new Arc Suit Scouts, the new characters themselves and all of that. Overall, the events that are happening during the month of September, as, you know, released by Datamine information and whatnot. There is, you know, a lot of things that the community is, I guess you could say up in arms about, which is fair, right? And so I wanted to go ahead and probably do something like I did last year. I didn't want to make another one of these, frankly. I don't think anyone ever in this situation ever does, but, I mean, we're probably going to be making another another video similar to this. Now, I want to say this video, the video that I plan to release is not going to be in nearly as much detail as this, because this video mostly aimed to show the problems with the game itself. Problems that the game had been having pretty much almost ever since like debut, and things that had like worsened over time. This will cover just this anniversary. This is not going to cover things, let's see what like how the state of the game has been in the past year, right? Ever since the 4th anniversary. It's not going to cover any of that, like the Mixed Scout introduction and other things similar to that. It's just going to be covering, you know, the additions and features, content, whatever, of the 5th anniversary of the game, basically the month of September, alongside the late end of August, right? And I don't plan to make it a video that is nearly as long as this. It might end up being relatively long, but that just depends. I want to have it out by the end of September, but there's no promise of that. I've got to get this video out. I've got to get the feedback. I'll probably give the feedback a week, right? And then go from there. But without, I guess, quote, further ado, this is the form. This is the form that I'm going to be putting in the description that I want people to fill out. If you are a fan of the game and you want to make your, you know, quote, voice known, right, by putting in feedback in this form, I urge you to do so, right? The more people that put the feedback in this form, the better the, you know, sample size, and the more, you know, I'm not going to say a likelihood it'll be listened to, but obviously, you know, the more there'll be a louder voice in one single area, right? I'm not going to obscure any data, at least I'm not going to try to. I'm not going to, like, purposely do it. I may, like, just disclude some information because I don't think it's necessary, but I'm not going to disclude something that goes against, like, my personal beliefs, because I'm pretty sure people know my personal thoughts about this anniversary, and obviously I have been relatively supportive, at least of certain aspects, obviously not others, like the scout point change, of course, I know, and I don't think anyone in their right mind is supportive of that type of change. Not to be disrespectful, of course, but I think, like, obviously, I don't think many people would be very supportive of that change. That just is, it's a bad thing for anyone who wants to, you know, summon in this game entirely. But of course, other than that, I've had quite positive opinions about a lot of the stuff anniversary, and I don't want people to think that just because I am the one making the survey, I'm the one making the video, I'm doing all this, that I'm going to end up obscuring opinions that don't agree with my own. That's just not the case. And if you don't agree with that, and if you think I'm still going to do that, well, I'm not going to force you to fill out this form. That's all there is to it. I don't really care. I'm going to be getting the data size of people, the data sample of people who actually want to fill out this form, and whatnot. And if you have people who, you know, don't watch, well, let's see, that play Pokemon Masters, but of course, you know, may not have too much access to social media or something, urge them, and they, like, you know, they play the game constantly. They know these, you know, different, like, things that are, quote, wrong with the game, or, you know, right with the game, depending on, you know, what your opinions are. Give them the form, right? Give anyone who would be willing to fill out this form access to it, so that I can get a better data sample size. That's kind of really all I'm asking for. And yeah, so I guess I'll just go ahead and, like, look at it. So I put it as an unofficial survey because obviously this is not endorsed by DNA or the Pokemon Masters, you know, community. This is just mine. I made this by my own fruition. I had like 5 people fill it out, give feedback on it, and all of that. That's pretty much it. I didn't really have anyone else look at it besides myself, and those 5 other people. So this is just made by me. I put this in the description here so people know about like what to do in order to like leave feedback. Of course, it's going to be used to gauge satisfaction towards the new features, mechanics, event, content, and all of that during the 5th anniversary. The feedback will be used in video form. Your individual responses will not have your name unless you outright say, this is my username or something like that. It's not going to include any of that. I'm not ever asking for someone's username or any sort of information. This is a completely anonymous survey, obviously. But I do, of course, maintain the right to be able to like screenshot, any message that you say in like these feedback forms where you can fill out, text descriptions. I maintain the right to be able to use those in the video, and all of that stuff. So just keep all of that in mind. And I do really urge people to put, if you have negative criticisms about, a lot of these things, put them in respectfully. Don't put hate speech, terms. Don't put, anything derogatory or anything that is directly blaming of any person involved. Don't say, oh, I hate the development team of this game. That is not, that for one, that's just not constructive feedback. And for two, that's just never going to be listened to, because if you don't put something that is like relatively respectful, there's no real chance of it ever being listened to. It rarely ever works. Of course, there are instances of it, working and whatnot, but for a game, just for an online video game, I don't think that type of criticism is going to really work the way you want it to. So, you can be firm, you can be, you can be outward, I guess, in your opinions, obviously, but don't let them out to the point where it is outright being disrespectful, or you're, endorsing harassment on anyone, or you're doing anything stupid, right? Just use kind of common sense when answering these questions. And here, there's like maybe 8 questions, I'm not sure, excluding the not required ones. First, I asked how long you've been playing the game. I don't really think there's... I think that people who fill out this that have been playing for longer obviously have a better idea of how the game has been in prior years. Of course, that doesn't exclude the opinions of people who have joined recently either as well, right? Like, it just shows that there's a big range of people that play the game, and it can show that, newer players may be happy, older players may be happy, newer players may be upset, older players may be upset, that type of thing. That's why I asked this question. I asked how satisfied people are with the character choices of Steven, Cynthia, and Lance. I want to say this does not mean what are you satisfied about their arc suits? Are you satisfied about the scout? This is just the character-wise Cynthia, Steven, and Lance. And of course, if you want to, you can probably include Dragonite, Metagross, and Garchomp as Pokemon too. I probably should reword the question to put that. I will maybe do that after this video. But anyway, how satisfied are you with these character choices? That's it. Nothing else about that question. Just what is your satisfaction there? And of course, I ask, why do you feel the way you do about that, whether it be a positive or negative thing? Of course, I put a scale this time. I did not put a multiple choice thing, because that would obviously, there'd be a lot of different answers. And of course, I didn't put text form for this, simply because that would give me a ton of varied responses. So I wanted to gauge overall from, complete unsatisfaction at 1, and then complete satisfaction at 5, how people felt about these character choices. So I just opted to do it that way. And again, long answer responses. This is where I would maybe like take a clip of like what someone said and what their rating was, and I would put it, in the video or something to, back up a point. And that's where a lot of these would come in. I'm not requiring anyone to ever fill out these long text responses, because I figure people may, get burned out on answering the form by the end or something like that. I don't want that to happen, but of course that may happen anyway. So I'm never going to make it required that you answer these long text questions. Just answer the 1 to 5 scale of how you feel. But of course, again, I do urge people to put out their opinion here, as long as it's respectful. Anyway, how satisfied are you with the implementation of Arc Suit Ferris Scouts? This includes the paid gem and non-paid version. Basically, what is your thoughts? This can include the pity system, the scout points. This include the rates of limited characters, the feature list of characters or something like that. Anything that relates to the new Arc Suit Ferris Scout. What is your opinion of it in terms of, 1 to 5 rating? And again, including the paid and non-paid version. If you have a specific opinion about the paid version and non-paid version, you can, of course, leave specifics about that here in the extra long text answer description here. So, what's your satisfaction there? How satisfied are you with the implementation of Arc Suit Sync pairs as entailing their the outfits, Pokemon sync moves, and kit quality? So, obviously, people have had opinions about the characters' sync move being the same as, at least the Pokemon's portion of the sync move being the same as an older sync pair. So of course I figured this may play into it. How do you feel about their kit in terms of like how good it is, how well it improves other characters? Maybe what is your overall opinion on this character's kit? And I guess this does include Pokemon, though I might end up removing that. I'm not too sure. again, I kind of think maybe Pokemon should go up here now with the character list. But point is, what do you feel about these sync pairs in terms of how they are as an overall unit, as a pair in terms of like character and Pokemon combination, maybe again the outfit and the sync pair kit? What is your feelings there? And again, long text description for any answer that you feel you may want to put that requires any extra points made. How satisfied are you with the amount of gems available during the period of late August to late September? Do you consider the possibility of rallies and extra bonuses throughout the month that may not be revealed yet? Of course, obviously, there may be posts for something for characters later in the month. Like, again, we did have significantly or Datamine, not confirmed, all that stuff. But point being, if we do ever get rallies in the middle of September or something, that could increase the gem count of the month. As of right now, I think it is 25,000, I believe. It may have changed since then, I'm not too sure. But yeah, so just consider, what is your thoughts about those amount of gems that are available in that period of the month? This does not include the anniversary run-up or anything like that. Just the period of, we'll say, about August 27th to September, we'll say probably 30th, right? Just keep that in mind. Why do you feel the way you do about that? And again, long answer response here. If you want to, put some extra description in that, again, remember, be respectful, because I can feel this is probably going to be one of those questions that people have a more strong opinion about than the other. How satisfied are you with the amount of resources available during the month? Again, move candy coins, roll cake coins, 5-star power-ups, maybe, I honestly just can't think of many other resources besides that. I guess champion spirit, right? Whatever. How do you feel about the amount of resources available, right? It's the anniversary. Maybe people expect a higher amount. Maybe some people expect a lower amount. Whatever, right? Point is, answer that with full honesty. How satisfied are you with things like the Daily Scout revamp and new freely obtainable sync pairs like Anniversary Lily and the updates to General Scout tickets? Mostly just, how do you feel about these universally positive updates, right? Like the Daily Scout revamp is good, right? It contains limited units now that we know. It contains a lot of things, right? It contains a lot of sync pairs. Ignoring how the rates are on that banner, it's pretty much a positive update, right? You go from getting pretty much useless items to being able to at least getting a 3-star power up, which at the very least that can help you get a 4-star power up, and then that 4-star power up can maybe help you get a 5-star power up. Whatever, right? How do you feel about that positive update? Things like Anniversary Lily, who's a very, very good free-to-play character. I will really solidify that she's a very good free character. And then updates to like the General Scout tickets with like the addition of Lenore, Ryuki, Tierno, Olympia, Drasna, all of them. And all that stuff. How do you feel about that? Are you unsatisfied? Are you satisfied, etc.? I just put these because I know this is a pretty positive change, and I want people to be able to at least be able to put things that they are going to find to be at least positive with the anniversary, so we can leave both negative and positive feedback. Why do you feel the way you do about these changes? Obviously. And then how satisfied are you with social media campaigns like the 5-year anniversary celebration daily sweepstake and the full power Lily sweepstakes? These, of course, have rewards like items that you can get shipped to you. Again, I'm pretty sure it is all limited to the United States and Canada, minus Quebec, I think. How do you feel about these? Do you think the rewards are nice? Obviously, I think a lot of the international players are going to be having certain opinions about this. So again, how satisfied are you with these rallies? And why do you feel that way? How satisfied are you with the new method of getting event rewards, the point system? This is the event system where instead of beating stages and getting vouchers, you get points, and those points allow you to get more rewards that you can't really choose, but you still get them. And obviously, you will be able, and it's, I don't know what the positive of it was. Like, you don't have to exchange items, I guess, but still. And of course, you get up to 10,000 points. You get all the rewards, and then past that, it's mostly just like experience books and whatnot. So how do you feel about that? I know this is not necessarily an anniversary change or an anniversary update, but of course, we did get 2 on the same exact day at the start of the anniversary. So I want to see how people maybe feel about that, right? With Lily and the triple anniversary and champion trios, right? And then again, how do you feel about that in text form? And then also, do you have any extra thoughts that were not included in the survey? Again, I had people leave thoughts about what should be included in the survey. Most of the suggestions I found were mostly like general things about the game, not really anniversary specific. And again, this is more leaning towards the 5th anniversary itself in terms of like what feedback you're supposed to be giving. So I mostly opted to not include most of the suggestions, but I did try to at least consider a lot of them. And I spent a good about 4 or 5 days after making the survey here, thinking about things to add to it, things to edit. Again, I sent it to people to be critiqued and whatnot. And I know it's not perfect, but I figure it is at least sufficient to be able to make a video that I hope to make at least probably about 20 minutes, 25 minutes long. I would prefer it to be that long because, oh boy, the other video was so long, it's long in video form. But anyway, whatever. I plan to leave the survey up for a week. It will be at, I'll be accepting the responses and data for a week from the upload date. I may give it the next day, so we'll say maybe tomorrow, not tomorrow, a week from tomorrow, on the 10th of Tuesday, I'll be, obviously, at least my time, right? That's probably when I'll cut off the survey and just start, gathering the data and then making the script, making the video. And again, I do aim to have that out by the end of September, but there's no promises due to a very busy schedule that I have. It may be like beginning, middle of October or something instead. It just really depends how things go. So just keep all of that in mind. And final thoughts. I don't want this to come off as like, I've got an audience, my opinion's stronger than others, but I do want to give out my personal thoughts, and I don't really want to put them in the survey, because, of course, it's just one data size among many. I don't really think that adding my own really impacts all that much, but I do want to say what my personal thoughts are. When the Arcsuit Sync pairs were revealed, both officially and unofficially, the leak out prior, because this always fucking happens. It's crazy. It didn't happen last year, surprisingly, but it did happen for the 30th anniversary, I do remember. Anyway, point being, I was very hyped for this. This trailer is easily still my favorite trailer in the series of this game. I love the trailer that introduced Admin and Irida. I love the trailer for the 2nd anniversary. I love the Team Galactic invading Passio trailer for the beginning of the Sinnoh villain arc. All of those were very, very fun trailers for me. And very, very good quality. But this one just was a step above the rest. The animation was beautiful. The character's like magical girl transformation into the arc suits was awesome. The concept of arc suits to me is very, very cool. I love these 3 characters, Steven, Cynthia, and Lance. They're all really, really cool. Again, which is why I've been so hyped about, these characters, their kits and all that. I really do love them. There's the Pokemon choices. It never really bothered me that they used the same Pokemon between Dragonite, Metagross, and Garchomp. I didn't really care. That was perfectly fine with me. It makes sense, and frankly, they're popular Pokemon, so I get why they did it. I think it's honestly better than teaming them up with random, like maybe potential legendary Pokemon or Paradox Pokemon, like maybe Roaring Moon for Lance or whatever steel types. I can't think of any steel type, like Iron Crown or something for Steven, and then whoever for Cynthia, right? I honestly think these are just better choices, frankly. But I will say that once things got revealed, things just mostly soured for me. I'm not appreciative at all of the scout point increase change. I'm not really appreciative of these characters being unable to be... They're forcing to use general candies on these characters in order to actually upgrade their move level other than summoning, and I do think that's not great. They said specifically that the investment of resources like level up materials would be for what would benefit their EX roll, but not candies. I get why they did it, because obviously you want people to pull for the sync pair anyway. You want them to pull for you want them to spend gems, right? But it's just a scummy tactic in my opinion. It's not the word I should be using, but it's just not a good tactic to be using because it just made people really upset. There would be so many people who would summon on these banners more if they knew that they could at least, like, since these characters have 5 out of 5 grids, people would be willing to summon on this banner, even if, again, if it had 400 scout points, by the way, for, 1, maybe 2, however many copies. There, of course, would be people that would just go for 1 copy, right? That's always going to happen. But there would still be a lot of people that would go to, like, maybe 1 pity rotation or whatever just to get a few copies, and then knowing that they could spend a striker candy or 2, they would boost, for example, Arcsuit Cynthia to 5 out of 5. There would be so many more people willing to do that, but since these characters only use general candies, which are only obtainable, like, once every probably about 5 or 6 months, like, you get about 2 a year. That's enough to only get 1 Arcsuit Sync pair to 3 out of 5? It takes 2 years to 5 out of 5 an Arcsuit Sync pair? That's nuts. That's just crazy to me. They would do that for people who, don't spend money, because at the end of the day, people, even if you don't spend money, you still provide value to the game by at least, being an active member of the game. You provide a lot potentially to the community. You give, word of mouth to the game itself. You do all this good stuff. Whatever. Free-to-play players still actually play a role in keeping this game alive. So why take away so many of the opportunities for a free-to-play free-to-play player to be able to potentially max these characters out? It's just not a good thing. And there's a few other aspects that I can't really think about right now. My mind is kind of foggy, that I'm just not really into. Again, 500 scout points, the lack of ability to use the candies of the characters' EX rolls was a big one. I'm not going to say I'm big. I don't really mind the sync move animation part. Like, that's just didn't really bother me. The gem count really bothered me. 25,000 gems during the anniversary month is way too low. I will say, considering the fact that they erased the pity and they may not ever decrease it, they should have doubled this anniversary gem count. 50,000, I think, is a good baseline. Frankly, I think it should be higher than that. But for me to not really say anything, I think 50,000 would have been a good number. But clearly, I mean, we clearly did not get that right. They're dropping another Master Fair in the middle of the month. I know it's a Datamine or whatever, it's not confirmed or whatever, but that's under the assumption that it is. Dropping a Master Fair, another 1% rate banner in the middle of the month on top of these 3 Arsuit Sync pairs in a month with 25,000 gems is just asinine to me. I really don't think that's very appreciative. And I know that those are my biggest criticisms. And I know that people are going to say, oh, you think this, but you still spent money on the game. Spent $200. I spent about... probably about $300 in the last 3 weeks between gems for like select scouts and these Arsuit banners and all that stuff. I spent about that much money. People are probably like, that's kind of crazy, but whatever. It's not really that big of a deal. I've got ways to make it back. It's not really, the money is not really that big of a deal to me. But what is a big deal is that I invest all this money and then end up getting kind of what I feel to be a little screwed over, I guess. Like, I love these characters and whatnot, but the method of obtainability for them and the method of upgrading them is so deliberately against free players. And obviously anyone pretty much playing this game would come from a sincerity of being a free-to-play player. Like, I was free-to-play for probably about a year. Okay, wasn't free, but I was very low spending. I only really started spending a good bit more money in this game since I started YouTube, because I started being able to make a little bit of money from YouTube, and I started being able to kind of break even on what I spend, and so I spent a little bit more. More recently, since I have a job, I've been spending a tiny bit more, for like Mixed Scout pools, and again, during this anniversary, but me spending my money and promoting this game in terms of content-wise, I just feel like I'm not receiving enough. And again, I know people are going to say, you spent money, whatever. Well, my response to that is that, again, I don't want this to come out as if my opinion is better than others, and I don't want this to come out the wrong way, where it seems maybe like a threat. I want to say this as respectfully as possible, and I don't really want people to take this in a bad way. I don't know how to really say it without it coming off as kind of brute forced, I guess. But I probably will be quitting this game by the 6th anniversary if this situation doesn't get better. Again, I made a complaints video a year ago about, and I don't really think much of it has been implemented into the game since then. The EX rolls have been far better, far better implemented, but of course that was also, they were very new at the time, so that was kind of expected. I do think that change is fine. Move candy coins have gotten a bit better. Spotlight Sync Pair Scouts have probably stayed about the same. If anything, they've probably stayed about the same. Maybe they've gotten a bit better. They've been spread out a bit better, honestly. So I'd say maybe in some aspects they got a little bit better. Returning events, I don't really remember too much, honestly. I mean, we just got a ton of rerun events, but we didn't get their medals. And at that point, if we're not getting the medals or the exchange shop or anything like that, I don't really consider it a complete rerun. Though they did give us the story and they did give us the videos a few weeks ago for, selecting your favorite story events. So I guess in some aspect that got a little bit better too. Monthly gem counts have only ever really gotten worse, honestly. They're, if not, stayed just stagnant. Sync pair pull rates haven't been improved really at all. Twitter rallies, I mean, we got the Iono rally, and I think we got another 3,000 gem rally a little bit ago for, I think, the half anniversary maybe. That was fine. All that stuff was good. We'll take that, thumbs up. But so I guess slightly better, but still not really fantastic. And then limited sync pair reruns, that's honestly been better, definitely. So there has been quite some changes, but really not nearly enough for the player base to really be back to the point where it was like, okay, this game is definitely improving a lot now. It still is coming off a lot as if most of the things in this game have still got a lot of aspects of them that is just not really catering towards a lot of the player base, or it's coming off as more let's get money while we can and then be done with it. I don't want to say that's what is going on, but I just want to say that is kind of something that I've really noticed. And again, because of that, and the fact that I have to make another one of these videos over what should be one of the best celebrations in the game, I probably will just be quitting by the 6th anniversary if I think things haven't got better. I don't want to say, oh, you got a year before things hit the fan, at least for me, but that's just how I feel. I don't think I can maintain motivation to play this game and upload content over this game consistently. Stressing myself out about getting, a schedule going, making sure I've got this stuff up by a certain time, doing all this stuff and whatnot, making sure there's a certain standard of quality. I don't want to do any of that anymore if I think that the game's just getting in a worse state. That's all there is to it. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to leave that off where it is. The form will be in the description. Be sure to go fill that out, and I will give it about a week until I start using the stuff to make the video, and that's all I really got to say. See you later. I hope you all enjoyed.